It is an honour to have been appointed as Secretary of State for Defence, and I'm delighted to be here today. Guido, Shinjiro, David, it's a pleasure to host you, and as someone who is in day one on the job, frankly, a relief to be surrounded by people who are on my side against the British media who are assembled. So I welcome your perseverance as well as your commitment, which shows how important this programme is to each of us. National security is the first duty of government. And while we've had a change of government in this country, that duty and our steadfast commitment to our allies and partners will not change. I pay tribute to my friends, John Healey and Dan Jarvis, for the work they've done over the past 2 years. I'm here today to show my commitment to keeping up that momentum from day one. My focus is on maximising our deterrence and ensuring that, should deterrence fail, we're ready to fight and win alongside allies. That means reindustrialisation and building back up our production capacity so we can give our armed forces the kit they need, as well as building and buying British so that we deliver good jobs in communities in every part of our country. It also means pushing the frontier of defence innovation, exactly as we are doing today. And it means keeping our people at the heart of defence. So I'm delighted to be working so closely with Italy, Japan, and now welcoming Canada, the first observer nation to the Global Combat Air Programme. Canada will gain direct insight and privileged access into GCAP, including capability development, industrial collaboration, and long-term delivery plans. David, we look forward to working with you and our Canadian friends in the months and years ahead on this vital project that will deter our adversaries and ensure we can defend against the threats of the future. GCAP means air superiority. Our nation needs it. This government is backing it. The £8.6 billion pledge to this sixth-generation fighter in our defence investment plan is a sure expression of the commitment of this government and this Prime Minister. GCAP will create opportunity and economic growth, as well as contributing to our defence and our deterrence. The wider Future Combat Air System programme today already supports 4,500 jobs across the UK, with thousands more expected to be supported over its lifetime as we accelerate progress. This venture also brings together some of the finest minds in the world, pushing the boundaries of the most advanced technologies ever developed as we drive innovation. Its potential is extraordinary. GCAP is a demonstration of the bond of mutual trust our nations share. Together, we will keep our nation safe, support good jobs, and give our armed forces the kit they need to deter and defend for generations to come. Thank you. Now let me hand over to Shinjiro.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to express my warmest congratulations to the Secretary Streeting on your appointment. I look forward to working with you closely. As you have been to Japan when you were elementary school student, as an exchange student, I look forward to your next visit to Japan. The Global Combat Air Programme, GCAP, is a milestone joint development project with Italy and the United Kingdom for a next-generation fighter. The program brings together the Indo-Pacific and the Euro-Atlantic located far in the distance from each other. This one-of-a-kind project serves as the basis for connectivity between the two regions and will be a long-lasting foundation for close ties among people, collaboration in technology, as well as cooperation among industries in the decades to come. GCAP is a truly transformative initiative, one that will fundamentally reshape the way the international community approaches security cooperation by enabling a global GCAP community to contribute collectively to our shared security. Earlier, we, the four nations, Japan, Italy, the United Kingdom, and Canada, had a dialogue and made this monumental decision to formally welcome Canada as an observer to the GCAP program. The security of the Indo-Pacific and the Euro-Atlantic is inseparable. And now, at this moment, Chinese and Russian naval vessels are conducting joint navigation operations in the waters surrounding Japan. In the middle of it, a Chinese naval vessel conducted live fire exercises within Japan's EEZ over the weekend. Amid this increasingly severe security environment, it is my great pleasure to join this celebration to announce Canada's observership. It is monumental as Canada is geographically located between the Indo-Pacific and the Euro-Atlantic. I have met and had frank discussions with Defense Minister McGuinty on many occasions such as in Munich, Tokyo, and Ankara. I am very much encouraged by Canada, which has been enhancing their engagement in the Indo-Pacific in recent years. Canada's participation in the program as an observer will provide great momentum to further strengthen Japan-Canada defense cooperation. Looking ahead, I strongly hope that Canada's participation as an observer in the program will further advance the cooperation among our four nations in initiatives such as supporting greater alignment of strategic priorities and help expand the network of cooperation among like-minded partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now, Guido, I could turn to you.
Grazie. Grazie a tutti di essere qua oggi. È un onore per me poter accompagnare il primo giorno di scuola di un nuovo collega. Iniziare con una conferenza stampa con 3 ministri è difficilissimo, iniziare con un programma complesso come il GCAP è ancora più difficile e noi qua oggi non siamo qua per i nostri interventi, siamo qua per supportarlo come amici in questo momento molto importante per lui e per il Regno Unito. Abbiamo collaborato con i tuoi predecessori come si collabora con gli amici e siamo rimasti amici. E sei fortunato che uno di questi ora gestisca le finanze e il bilancio UK con la consapevolezza di quanto è importante la difesa per il Regno Unito.
You said it.
Ne approfittiamo che Dio conservi John per la difesa di UK e quella europea. A parte gli scherzi, siamo qua per un programma che per noi è molto importante. Noi abbiamo creduto fin dall'inizio nel GCAP, che è molto più di un programma per sviluppare un nuovo sistema di combattimento. È una scelta strategica che dimostra come nazioni che condividono valori democratici possano costruire insieme la propria sicurezza futura. Italia, Regno Unito e Giappone hanno deciso di mettere in comune le competenze, le capacità industriali e quelle tecnologiche. Il GCAP dimostra che la cooperazione internazionale non rallenta i processi quando è fondata sulla fiducia, anzi li rende più forti. Il programma rafforza il legame politico e strategico tra i nostri 3 paesi che condividono una responsabilità globale. Il GCAP nasce come partnership tra uguali, ogni paese contribuisce secondo le proprie eccellenze, responsabilità, investimenti e benefici industriali e ritorni tecnologici sono equilibrati in base a quello che abbiamo messo, l'abbiamo scelto fin dall'inizio. E siamo contenti di accogliere la partecipazione del Canada come osservatore. È un riconoscimento dell'attrattività del nostro programma, dimostra che il GCAP rappresenta un modello credibile di cooperazione tra alleati. L'apertura verso partner che condividono i nostri principi e le nostre responsabilità rafforza il progetto. Il GCAP non produce soltanto sicurezza, genera innovazione, ricerca, occupazione qualificata e competitività industriale. Prima Sinshiro ha ricordato la Cina e la Russia. Questa è anche una risposta all'aggressività di alcuni paesi come la Cina e la Russia. Far vedere che noi rispondiamo all'aggressione di questi paesi unendoci, perché dall'unione di grandi paesi come i nostri nasce una realtà più forte, più deterrente, più capace di fare massa critica e di dimostrare ai nemici dell'Occidente, dei valori e della libertà, che noi non ci inchineremo mai alla sopraffazione e alla violenza o alla guerra. Anche per questo è importante il GCAP e anche per questo sono onorato e contento di essere qua a rappresentare l'Italia.
Thank you very much. And last but by certainly no means least, we're very glad to welcome you here today.
Well, thank you very much, Secretary Streeting. Wes, thanks for the generous hospitality. Congratulations. It's a great honor to be here alongside my colleagues from the United Kingdom, Italy, and Japan. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Today is about more than a program. It's about an enduring strength of partnership. Our four countries are united by shared values, by mutual trust, and a common determination to protect the peace, security, and international rules-based order that generations before us have worked so very hard to build. Nos partenariats sont fondés sur la confiance, sur des valeurs communes et sur une conviction simple. Nous sommes plus forts lorsque nous agissons ensemble. We are much stronger together. That responsibility has never been greater. The world is becoming more contested. Strategic competition is intensifying. Technology is transforming the character of conflict at an unprecedented pace. We like to say in Canada that we will never again see the pace of change so slow. And the nations that can innovate together, build together, and stand together will be best positioned to meet the challenges of tomorrow. That's exactly what the Global Combat Air Program represents. Today, Canada is proud to become its first observer nation. This is an important milestone for Canada. It's also a powerful reflection of the trust that exists between our countries, and it reflects our shared commitment to shaping the future of collective security. Observer status will give Canada the opportunity to deepen its understanding of next-generation combat air capabilities, strengthen our industrial collaboration, and contribute more closely to the partnerships that will define the future of air power. In fact, it reflects a simple truth. No nation can safeguard its security alone. The challenges we face are shared. The technologies we depend on are increasingly interconnected. And the partnerships we strengthen today will shape our security for decades to come. Ensemble, nous investissons dans les capacités qui assureront notre sécurité collective pour les décennies à venir. That same principle is guiding Canada's defence industrial strategy. It's laying the foundation for Canada's future security by strengthening our sovereign industrial capacity, accelerating innovation, and deepening the trusted partnerships that will ensure Canada and its allies are prepared for the challenges ahead. Because security today depends not only on the strength of our armed forces, it depends on the strength of our industrial base. It depends on trusted supply chains. It depends on innovation. And above all, it depends on trusted allies. Canada's aerospace and defence sector is ready to help to meet that challenge. Together with our partners, Canadian industry will continue developing the technologies, the capabilities, and industrial resilience that strengthen all of our nations. Today's announcement really reflects more than Canada's participation in an important program. It reflects our shared belief that enduring security is built through trust, strengthened through partnership, and sustained through innovation. So the Secretary Streeting, Minister Crosetto, Minister Koizumi, merci de votre confiance. Thank you for your partnership. Merci de votre leadership. Thank you for your trust. Canada looks forward to working even more closely with each of you as we help build the next generation of capabilities that will strengthen the security of our nations and our alliance. Ensemble, nous continuerons à bâtir un avenir plus sûr. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. I will now take some questions from the media, beginning with Deborah from Sky News.
Thank you, Defence Secretary Deborah Haynes from Sky News. Yesterday morning, a Russian warship fired live rounds as a live firing exercise off the coast of England. Do you think that this was a message from Vladimir Putin to the new Prime Minister, given that it happened on the day that Andy Burnham was sworn in? And do you have your own message for the UK's allies and our enemies about UK defence spending in particular? Does this new government believe what the new Chancellor says, that defence spending needs to rise to 3% of GDP by 2030?
Thank you very much, Deborah. Firstly, we should see yesterday's events as performative and irresponsible. It's not the first time that Russia has behaved like this, and frankly, it's the tip of the iceberg of the daily threats that this country faces and our allies face. And Russia should be in no doubt about the resolve of this government and this Prime Minister. Our resolve to stand against Russian aggression in Ukraine, but also Russian aggression against all of our allies. The commitment that the Prime Minister has given to the defence of our nation is clear and will be even more clear in the coming months. I'm absolutely delighted that my friend and predecessor, John Healey, has taken on the challenge of Chancellor of the Exchequer. His position on defence investment is on the record, as is mine. We have a responsibility, I think, at the Ministry of Defence to demonstrate that every penny of taxpayer money that's invested in defence is necessary and well spent. To show that we understand the sacrifices that involves from other government departments in terms of opportunity costs of other things we might fund, but also to taxpayers, whether individuals or businesses that are feeling hard pressed. We don't take the contribution they make lightly, and we don't make this ask of the country lightly either. But as I set out in my opening remarks, it is absolutely critical, against the backdrop of both the enormous geopolitical instability we see today and the changing and evolving nature of threats to this country and our allies, that we are able to maximise our deterrence to prevent conflict, and also to make sure that should deterrence fails, that we are ready and capable of acting as a nation and with allies to defend our citizens, our interests and our values. So I think the commitment of this government is clear. The opportunities for this country are enormous. Investment in defence is precisely that. It is not simply investing in our defence, it's investing in jobs, it's investing in opportunities, and it's investing right across the length and breadth of the land. So this ministry has an enormous contribution to make, both to the Prime Minister's vision for reindustrialisation, but also his vision in terms of improving living standards, jobs and opportunities for people from working class backgrounds like mine right throughout these islands. And it's also an opportunity for us, as we've seen so many times before when it comes to defence innovation, to make sure that we are, as a country, as well as with allies, pushing right up against the frontier of innovation, showing what's possible, and then diffusing that technology throughout defence, but also throughout the wider economy and wider society for the betterment of humanity. So there's clear vision, there's clear commitment, and also, I hope, an unequivocal message to those who would threaten us, as well as an unequivocal message to our allies too, that this country that makes commitments to our allies sticks by those commitments. Those commitments are clear, and we will stick by them. Thank you, Deborah. Can I turn now to Nicoletta from RAI?
Thank you. Good morning. Nicoletta Manzione, RAI Italia. La domanda per il Ministro Crosetto: investimenti, un accordo importante e anche molto impegnativo dal punto di vista degli investimenti, è già in grado di valutare quali potranno essere le ricadute economiche per il nostro Paese in termini di occupazione e di reinvestimenti? E poi ha parlato della minaccia russa e della minaccia cinese, ma spesso lei ci ha ricordato che è la guerra ibrida anche il nuovo paradigma di queste tensioni, di questi confronti. Come quanto conviene ancora investire in questi grandi accordi e quanto bisognerà invece ancora investire per sviluppare strategie di risposta alle nuove minacce ibride. Grazie.
Grazie a lei. Il problema dei tempi in cui viviamo è che le minacce si sono stratificate. Ci sono minacce nuove che cambiano ogni giorno, che la tecnologia ci porta davanti, che si sommano alle minacce vecchie. Abbiamo i droni, ma abbiamo ancora i carri armati. Abbiamo l'intelligenza artificiale, ma abbiamo le trincee in Ucraina ancora. Quindi la guerra non è cambiata, è diventata più complessa. È la guerra vecchia che abbiamo conosciuto, su cui si sommano attraverso nuove tecnologie dei modi diversi di fare male. La guerra ibrida è uno di questi. La guerra ibrida significa attacchi cyber alle nostre banche dati, ai nostri stati, ed è continua ogni giorno centinaia di attacchi che non si vedono, che nessuno percepisce come guerra, ma che sono guerra, che arrivano da alcuni stati. Non arrivano dal Giappone, non arrivano dal Regno Unito, non arrivano dal Canada, arrivano normalmente, nella maggior parte dei casi, dall'Iran, dalla Russia e dalla Cina, soprattutto da quest'ultima. Ma c'è un malessere ancora meno evidente, ma ancora più pericoloso, che è quella della trasformazione delle opinioni pubbliche attraverso i social media, attraverso un sistema scientifico per cui degli algoritmi sempre più accurati cercano di influenzare le opinioni pubbliche, di distruggere le democrazie, perché le democrazie sono più deboli, perché in Cina il voto non conta e quindi è inutile influenzare l'opinione di un cinese, ma influenzare l'opinione di un giapponese, di una persona del Regno Unito, canadese o italiano invece ha degli effetti devastanti, quelli di indebolire la democrazia, di dimostrare che la democrazia è un sistema che perde contro l'oligarchia perché è troppo lento, perché richiede dei compromessi. Questo programma combatte anche questo. Questo programma significa che le nostre democrazie rispondono a queste provocazioni facendo degli investimenti che guardano avanti. L'investimento nel GCAP non è l'investimento in un aereo, è l'investimento in tecnologia che ancora non esiste. Noi adesso ci muoviamo con le macchine perché abbiamo un sistema satellitare che nasce dagli investimenti militari. Tutta la nostra vita passa su internet che nasce da un investimento militare. L'intelligenza artificiale che sta trasformando il mondo nasce dall'investimento militare americano. Noi stiamo costruendo attraverso un investimento che parte dalla difesa il futuro tecnologico, la difesa tecnologica non solo della parte dell'industria militare, ma di tutta la parte produttiva. Cioè noi stiamo cercando di dare ai nostri lavoratori nel futuro le tecnologie su cui costruire altre cose, non soltanto il GCAP, ma attraverso questa tecnologia di costruire il Giappone, il Regno Unito, il Canada, l'Italia del futuro. Ecco, io sono convinto che solo questi grandi investimenti ci possano rafforzare, così come sono convinto che la più grande deterrenza verso questi paesi sia l'unione. La più grande deterrenza di questi paesi è vedere che noi ci uniamo, che non siamo soli e non ci dividiamo.
Thank you very much. Next I'm going to turn to Murayama from Kyodo News.
共同通信の村山です。よろしくお願いします。小泉大臣に伺います。今回、日本にとって、GCAP の重要性とですね、あとカナダが今回オブザーバー参加を決めたということについての受け止めを改めて伺います。また今回、カナダを含めて4カ国の防衛トップが一度にこの場に集まったわけですが、この4人で集まって、メッセージを発出する意義についてもお伺いできればと思います。
はい、ありがとうございます。まず GCAP は我が国の防衛に必要不可欠な航空優勢を将来にわたって確保するためのプログラムであるだけではなくて、基本的な価値を共有し、共にアメリカの同盟国であるイギリス、そしてイタリアと、今後数十年に及ぶ幅広い安全保障協力の礎となるものです。この GCAP は日英、イタリア3カ国の同盟国や同志国との協力を念頭に置いて進めてきたものであるところ、初めてのオブザーバー参加国が近年インド太平洋への関与を強化しているカナダであることを非常に嬉しく思っています。 このように4カ国の防衛大臣で揃ってカナダのオブザーバー参加決定を発表することは GCAP の今後のさらなる発展に向けた4カ国の強いコミットメントを示す非常に有意義な機会になったと考えていますし、先ほどストリーティング大臣からも非常に力強いコミットメントがメッセージが示されました。今日このようにストリーティング大臣の Day1、私は全く先ほどの堂々としたお話を聞いてて Day1 とは思えない、非常に心強い友人がパートナーが参加をしてくれたと思っていますが、このストリーティング大臣にとっての Day1 とまた新たなカナダというオブザーバーにとっての Day1、この日に立ち会えたことを私は間違いなくポジティブなメッセージだと受け止めています。
Thank you. Yes, indeed. Nothing says commitment like a press conference on day one in a new job. I'm taking Redmond from Global News Canada. Get your microphone.
Redmond Shannon, Global News Canada. For Minister McGuinty, what leverage does this announcement, this involvement give Canada in current or future trade negotiations with the United States, be they in defence or other areas, and in an era of rapid drone and UAE development? Is this where Canada should be focusing its efforts?
Well, thank you for the question. This isn't a question of leverage. This is a question of, perhaps going back to the answer that my colleague Minister Koizumi gave a moment ago, the message really is that we're stronger together. And this is an initiative that Canada is honoured to be able to join because it's going to allow us to deepen our understanding of sixth generation combat air capabilities. It's going to strengthen our collaboration with trusted allies here at this podium. It doesn't commit Canada to overt procurement or deeper future program participation, but it does allow us to deepen our relationship with three prominent actors in this space. We're not entering this agreement, we're not becoming observers in this arrangement as a result of our ongoing negotiations with the United States. Those will continue. They're being led by the Prime Minister, by Minister LeBlanc, Minister Champagne, our chief negotiator. So we're looking forward to learning, we're looking forward to sharing, we're looking forward to being at the cutting edge. As our colleague from Italy said, we're developing things, this process will be developing things that remain to be developed. So it's a great honor to be here, and we're just looking forward to going forward and learning.
Thank you. And next we'll turn to Mark from the Daily Mail.
Thank you, Secretary of State. Apologies for dragging you back to domestic matters, and welcome to the role from the Defence Correspondents Association. When you say the Prime Minister's commitment is clear and will be even more clear in the coming months, are you hinting at a rise in defence spending this year, or perhaps a notification on the timetable to reach that NATO target of 3.5%?
I think the Prime Minister has been clear and will continue to do so that this is a country under his leadership that honours our commitments to our international allies and partners. He recognises both the challenge of current threats this country faces, but also the evolving nature of those threats and the need to invest in defence. I think one of the enormous strengths of this Prime Minister is, as he leads our country through big domestic and international challenges, he has an unrivaled ability to tell a story about this country, where it is and where he wants to be. And I think the country is crying out for that kind of leadership. They want to see a government that's on their side. They want to see a government that's able to confront big domestic and global challenges. And they want to know that things will get better. And they want to be able to hope again. And it can be particularly easy in this space when there are the daily threats that we face. And we are confronting war still in Europe, and we are thinking about the ways in which warfare is changing, to see that through the lens of pessimism and fear, but actually hope is built on strength. And that's why, in terms of the sort of strength of this country, its social fabric and the jobs, the opportunities, the equality we want to see in this country, you don't have that kind of social justice without national security, and the two go hand in hand. And that is a fine Labour tradition going right back to the days of Attlee, Bevin and Bevan, and I think that is the spirit you'll see reflected from this Prime Minister and this government. As to future fiscal events, it's for the Chancellor to make announcements on those matters, but I certainly feel like we've got a firm friend in His Majesty's Treasury. I'll turn to Alessandro from ANSA.
Alessandro Groscino, Italian News Agency, ANSA. A few days ago, Admiral Cabo Dragone from NATO headquarters said that Ukraine, in his opinion, is turning the tide in the war against Russia. So do you think, I asked Minister Crosetto, but also whoever want to answer, do you agree with this idea that Ukraine can actually win the war against Russia?
L'Ucraina ha già vinto la guerra. Forse noi non ci ricordiamo, ma 4 anni fa tutto il mondo era convinto che la Russia in 7 giorni arrivasse a Kiev. Gli americani stessi avevano mandato un elicottero per salvare Zelensky. Sono passati 4 anni, la Russia è ferma sul confine. Ogni mese 30.000 russi sono morti o feriti. C'è una zona che si chiama Dead Zone dove nessuno riesce a passare. L'Ucraina è passata da un momento di straordinaria difficoltà ad aver innovato completamente il campo di battaglia. Ha insegnato a tutto il mondo che i droni, che fino a qualche anno fa, lo ricordo tutti noi, erano qualcosa che usavano i bambini o gli adulti per andare a vedere le cose dall'alto, sono diventato un spaventoso che ha cambiato tutte le nostre difese. Quindi, come dicevo prima, c'è stata un'innovazione profonda e l'Ucraina è stata parte di questa innovazione profonda. Così come ci ha insegnato l'Ucraina, ed è una lezione che io vorrei che imparassero le industrie, tutte le industrie della difesa occidentali, che si può innovare in tempi molto rapidi, che si può aumentare la produzione in tempi molto rapidi, che si può diminuire il prezzo del costo della produzione in tempi molto rapidi, e che le industrie della difesa devono diventare come le altre industrie, cioè capaci di industrializzarsi e quindi di competere per velocità, costo e quantità di produzione. Ed è questa l'altra svolta che ci ha insegnato l'Ucraina. La guerra dell'Ucraina era diversa da quella della Russia. L'Ucraina non voleva conquistare la Russia, non voleva distruggere la Russia. L'Ucraina lotta e lottava per difendersi. Esiste, è forte e quindi sta vincendo questa guerra. L'Ucraina non ha mai voluto far male alla Russia, ha solo voluto far bene ai cittadini ucraini. Per quello noi l'abbiamo supportata, per quello continuiamo a supportarla, per quello vorremmo che questa guerra finisse. Ma questa guerra può finire in un solo modo: ripristinando la legalità, l'ordine, e facendo sì che Putin la smetta di bombardare ogni giorno quel paese. Io dico da 4 anni che la guerra finirà il giorno in cui la Russia smetterà di combattere per almeno 24-48 ore. Negli ultimi 4 anni non c'è stato un solo giorno in cui la Russia non abbia bombardato infrastrutture civili, non parlo dei militari, città ucraine. Quindi inizierà la fine della guerra quando lo vorrà Putin e smetterà di attaccare. Per oggi l'Ucraina ha reso per Putin questa guerra ogni giorno più difficile da sostenere anche internamente e politicamente, anche grazie al nostro aiuto, ma soprattutto grazie al sacrificio del popolo ucraino.
I wholeheartedly endorse those comments, and the war in Ukraine has been a total humiliation for Vladimir Putin. He thought he would steamroller through Ukraine and win the war quickly, and instead he's bogged down and has paid a terrible price in Russian lives. And I think it was a war that was of his making, not of Ukraine's, and it is a war that he could end today if he chose to. In the meantime, the commitment of this country to supporting our friends in Ukraine is unshakable, and against the backdrop of lots of domestic political change in this country, from various Conservative prime ministers through to transition to now 2 Labour prime ministers, the thing I'm most proud of is throughout that entire period since this war began, this country has stood absolutely united and fully shoulder to shoulder with our Ukrainian friends and allies, because we recognise that their fight on the front line is the fight for freedom and democracy. And that is absolutely unshakable, as is the support not just of successive British Prime Ministers, but of the British people too. I'll now take Ashley from CBC, unless my colleagues next to him.
Ashley Brooks, CBC News. Minister McGuinty, the U.S. said yesterday that it's going to be hitting Canada with more tariffs, 50% on many goods. What's your reaction to that? And what message does this announcement, this partnership, say today in a time when you're trying to diversify? And Defense Secretary Streeting, do you want Canada to become a full partner of this program and eventually buy these fighter jets?
Look, this is the latest in a series of unilateral U.S. trade actions. Not unfamiliar to us, it began with the U.S. imposing a series of tariffs in direct violation of the CUSMA Free Trade Agreement. That included tariffs on the Canadian auto sector in violation of CUSMA. And Canada, as is its right, responded. Since then, we have, in response to those measures, also made sure that Canadians from coast to coast to coast, we have ensured that they have come together themselves to take the necessary actions to support our economy, defend our workers, our farmers, our businesses, and our families. Listen, I think it's fair to say everyone in the room recognizes that the U.S. has been transforming all of its trade relationships, including those covered under CUSMA, for the past 18 months. So it's not new. Canada has made a series of detailed and comprehensive proposals to resolve the dispute, to modernize CUSMA, and we stand ready to intensify those discussions. We do believe in the benefit of free and fair trade. That's why our government has signed 20 new economic and defense agreements in the past year. This trade dispute continues to cost families money, particularly American families. They are paying a price, and Canada stands ready to engage intensively to make sure that these issues can be resolved. So we're going back to the table. And the question of this observation, this observer status in this particular agreement and its linkage to the Canada-US relationship, I want to be really clear about this. I would venture to say that if we were not involved in any kind of trade dispute with the United States, we would still be signing this accord. We would still be joining as observers. This is about recognizing that we have got to come together. I think 15 of the 32 heads of state who spoke at NATO in Ankara just 2 weeks ago publicly allocated that they felt it was time for our member states to come together, the alliance states to come together, in a way that we haven't previously done. That no one nation is going to be able to deal with these challenges alone, and that there's strength in numbers, strength in cooperation, and that's exactly what this reflects, and we're just simply honored to be able to join early on now as observers.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think this is a reflection of shared values, shared interests, and also a shared commitment to deepen our defence and industrial cooperation with a close ally. There's no commitment to purchase and no obligation on our Canadian friends, but we're delighted that they're taking up this observer status. It means they can gain a greater understanding of the programme, its capabilities, long-term vision, and we'll take it from there. But the fact we've got Canada with us here today, and interest in the programme, I think, speaks to the strength of the programme itself, and also our commitment both to our bilateral relationship but also our multilateral partnership too. Last but by certainly no means least, Chris Mason from the BBC.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris Mason, BBC News, and congratulations to you, Defence Secretary. What's your message to your former Cabinet colleague, Darren Jones? Would you suggest he gives social media a break for a while, or has he delivered a blunt truth about the Prime Minister's tax cut being unfunded? Thank you.
I've been immersed in the Ministry of Defence today, so you'll forgive me if I haven't seen in detail comments made by Darren Jones. What I can say, having come here straight from Cabinet this afternoon, is that what you will see and hear from this Prime Minister and Chancellor, both in the coming days, months and years, is a commitment to be both bold and also credible. Where we're making commitments to the country, it's because they're affordable, and we will set out how those things will be funded. Darren Jones was a good colleague, served this country well, and certainly look forward to working with him, regardless of where he happens to sit in the House of Commons chamber. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. I didn't have a... That is it. Thank you.
No? Good idea.